Welcome to Her Story Podcast, a safe space where women share real stories, stories of pain, resilience, healing, and hope. Now, today's episode is one that requires compassion, courage, and care. Our guest has chosen to share a deeply personal part of her journey, her experience of childhood abuse. This conversation is not just shared for shock or for sympathy, but for awareness, healing, and to remind others that they are not alone. We want to be clear. This episode that we're going to discuss today may be sensitive to some and may be difficult for some to listen to. So please take care of yourself as you listen. We'd like to thank you, Ms. Tashunda Wallace, for joining us today. Thank you again, Shonda, if you don't mind me calling you that for sure. Thank you for joining us here on the Her Story podcast today and sharing your journey with us. I don't want to give anything away because, we've shared some conversations and your story, is amazing. I mean, I have my own story. But when I read your story, not only was I in tears, I was angry, I was shocked, I was sympathetic. All of those things were raging through me at the same time. And at the same time, I wish you was present with me just so I could wrap my arms around you. Aww. So a powerful story it is. And I'm sure that those who hear it would, have the exact same emotions and expressions when reading it and hearing it from you. So, but in this very moment, how are you feeling now at this moment, knowing that you're getting ready to share your story with some listeners who very well could be healed from hearing it?
To be honest, when I first got in the car to head this way, I went through a struggle because I felt like that little girl again saying, I can hear, um, you know, you starting trouble, you opening up your mouth, you're going to ruin the family. The same statements that were made to me when I was a little girl from that person that I was going to start trouble. So it was a fight. Yeah. And I got through that fight. So I'm glad to be here. I am happy to be able to be a voice to many women, men, little boys, little girls, especially my siblings. I want to be a voice for my siblings. And I want to be able to help people heal, help them to understand that it's okay to say what has happened to you, to help others. Absolutely. And not to be ashamed. Shame is one, how can I say it? One characteristic that, if I'm saying that correctly, that cause you to keep your mouth shut or not to be able to share what has happened to you in the past or even right now with someone maybe watching. They may be happening right now, maybe a teenager or a little girl, you never know. So I want to be that one to say, hey, this is a safe space right here on Her Voice. Yes. And that you can be able to tell what has happened to you. Yes. And to help heal you through this journey.
That's right. That's true. And the evangelist in me just want to say amen. It's true. It's so true. And you said something that is so important, is that a lot of people are afraid to come out of where they are, not because so much of fear, but because of shame.
Yes.
It's like, what are they going to think of me? What are they going to say? Are they even going to believe me? Yeah. So it's not so much anymore that people fear what others can do or say to them. It's that shame, the embarrassment that they'll feel from people judging them and different things like that. So you said a mouthful when you said that, because I had those same feelings as well before sharing my journey.
Yes.
So, and in saying all of that, so let's just jump right into this, because I know that there are details, and you may not get into extreme details on the show today, but you'll share at the end an opportunity for people to really know the details of your story at the end. But from the beginning, take us on your journey as a child from your normal experience as a child and how things begin to change in your life, in your childhood?
So my childhood, as far as I can remember, I was flat chested. I had to be at least about 4 or 5 years old. I wasn't in school, so I do remember that. Um, my mom went to church. You know, she got saved. I believe she said she got saved when I turned 1 years old. So she went to church and she left me behind because normally you'll leave your child, you know, with the father. If you don't have, you know, she coming from work, she getting herself together. She probably just didn't feel like, you know, sometimes it can be like that. So she left me home. And I remember the grooming process. And the grooming process was when, you know, I was asked to scratch his head, you know, just, you know, scratch hair, you know, scalp, you know, dandruff or whatever the case may be. And that's when the grooming started, the feeling and the touching, which I was confused at the time because I didn't understand why he would have his hand in spots that he had no business having his hand at. So it continued. And can I say I had a normal childhood within the home? No. I can't remember any happy times as a child because every chance he had, he felt on me. And it progressed more and more through my childhood, through the adolescent stage, to middle school, through elementary. So I was a confused kid because I didn't understand the dynamics of family or a father. I thought every child that was in my class, their father did the same. I thought it was a normal thing. So I never opened my mouth to say anything because I was like, well, everybody else must be going through the same. You know, I would watch. I was a quiet kid in school. So I would watch and see, you know, other kids playing that. And I would never play on the playground with other kids because I was afraid that I just didn't understand. So I was withdrawn within myself that I could remember. And as time went on, middle school came, same thing. Abuse got worse. I can't remember the age that penetration started. Penetration started with me, and it was my father. I'm not ashamed to say that now. I was ashamed. I asked my husband on the way here, I looked at him, I said, will you be ashamed if I would say this on, you know, live that it was my dad that did that to me? You know, because your dad's supposed to be there to protect you, to make sure everything okay. You're supposed to be able to go to your dad for different things, and when you can't do that, or you have to do sexual favors in order to go to games or football games in school and different stuff like that. So I was so ashamed. I was so ashamed. And that was my fight on the way here. It was like, how can I tell everybody it was my own flesh and blood, my dad, you know, that did this. And what made me really, when I saw your book, I'm sorry for jumping, but when I saw your book released and what I didn't read it at first, but I read the comment that you made. And I said, if she can do it, I can do it. May not be the same exact story, but is our story. And what really made up my mind was when one of my siblings, I won't name which, called me after I just got off work. I was in a great mood, driving the car, blasting my gospel music, you know, just having a good time, a good day at work. And she called me screeching. It was a screeching cry. And she said, Shonda, I know he did this to me. it happened to me. And the holler and the scream was just like somebody died.
Wow. I just got chills.
And
Yeah.
that's when, and I cried with her, and she was like, nobody would believe me if I even say anything. Look how long it's been since it just popped. I just remembered. And she began to go in detail about what happened. And that right there just sent a determination within me, because started writing this manuscript of my book for years. Like, I'm gonna write, I'm gonna release it. Then I said, no, because I'm gonna start trouble. No, because everybody's gonna look at me like this. No, because people are gonna talk about me. No, I'm gonna be ashamed to say what was said because it was him. Then I realized I have to be a voice for them. Yeah. I have to be a voice for them, for my siblings, because they're afraid to say anything, So going back to what happened to me. So I went through elementary, middle, and then high school.
Wow.
So all through my childhood, yes. And my sister revealed to me not long ago that at the age of 5, we are 5 years apart. So she, at the age of 5, she saw him come into our room and was fondling me. Wow. And she felt very ashamed because of the fact that she says, Shonda, why didn't I tell anybody? Why didn't I say anything? I said, you were too young to even. I said, I can't fault you or blame you. You didn't know. You didn't understand, what was going on. So, yes.
Was there ever that conversation or anything that he had said to you to make you understand that this is something you need to keep to yourself and don't you ever tell anyone?
Yes. He told me, I can't remember the age. I was young. He told me that if I ever tell anyone, we got to keep it our secret. And if I tell anyone, I will ruin my mom and his marriage, and I ruin the family, is what he said. My mother wouldn't like me. She would be mad with me. And so I kept it a secret all those years.
Wow.
All those years until
now.
I told certain people. My husband knew when I first married him. He knew we were going together. He knew. I ain't said nothing to him, but he knew that. I was like, "How did you know?" He said, "You carry certain characteristics to know that you have been. So what happened to you?" And I was afraid to tell him then, what happened to me. But this is the time now.
That's awesome. That's awesome, and it's so amazing when those people that was preserved for you at a certain time in your life, they just understand, and it's like their arms were built perfectly to hold you, and their fingers were built perfectly to wipe your tears, and that they would be that person that they're gonna say, "Hey, I'm your tower. It's time for you to move forward now. If you need to lean, this is me. I'm standing here." And it's just amazing to finally find those people that give us the strength to open up our mouths and share the things that happen. And another thing you said too that stands out is it's so heartbreaking that we have to confess that the ones that hurt us the most were the ones that were supposed to protect us and were supposed to love us and care for us and supposed to stand up for us when someone else violated us. So, going through this as a child, it's like, I can't imagine. I mean, I can understand why you thought that everybody with a father, this is what goes on in their house too, because you didn't know any different because, it was so consistent in your own life as a child.
Yes. Even when I never knew what a father was supposed to be to a child until I saw the example through my husband and his kids and his girls, and how they could call him, they could talk to him about anything, even down to dating guys or getting married, and how they could have long conversations with them, and how he protects them. Even now when they grown, he makes sure he protect. Hey, he'll tell his son-in-laws, "Hey, if you ever put them, I'm coming after you."
supposed to.
But yes, and not to have that. And when I hear like back in when I was younger and I go to church with mom and I hear them preach about, Jesus is God is our Father. And when I hear God is our Father, my warped sense of thinking like, what did he do to his children? What do you mean he loves us? How could he loves us if he will allow this to happen to me, over and over? And I sit in church and I see everybody running around and shouting, praising God and saying God is so loving. But when I go home, I got to be violated over and over and over again. And I just could not understand. I couldn't grasp the understanding at that particular time. It took me years to understand. Even when I got grown, I couldn't understand until I went through some things, which they were reading my book. I went through some things, and then I came to grips that God does not abuse us. Yes. He loves us eternally. He loves us with everlasting love. That He don't love like man present love. The warped sense of thinking. Yeah. And I had to realize that I don't have a problem. It's not my problem.
Exactly.
I don't have a sickness. He has one.
Yes.
And I need to open my mouth and reveal what's been in the dark for so long, swept under the rug. I'm pretending to smile at family reunions and smile. I even at one point would usually I used to go around there, to his house with my siblings, just to act normal. And then my last time when I was there, I saw a picture of me and my siblings sitting on his counter and when we were younger. And I'm like, oh my God, is this supposed to be like a trophy? That's not normal. You violated us in certain ways. All of us may not have been violated in the same way, but we all had a traumatic childhood. And you're gonna tell me that this is what my mom don't even have that picture, and so that at that time made me very angry. It made me very angry. And you're walking around like it's normal. You're walking around like it's okay. And then you continue to lie about what you have done. And my siblings keep coming to me and saying, well, this has been said and that been said. So I took it upon myself when I was writing the book, as you know, I went and searched deeply for proof.
Yeah.
I went for medical records in 1989, which I have right here beside me. You saw,
yes.
And I highlighted at the bottom what the doctor said. There was there was on the side, there was the sheriff. And then in the notes, there was the, what is the people called that comes, the social worker. Name of social workers, everything. And at that time, when it was time to put him away when they came and arrested him, when my mom took me to the hospital and got the test done, which they do a rape test. I had to go through the humiliating thing at 16 years old, because she came home early one day and I had fear in my eyes because he was messing with me in their bedroom. And he said, oh, your mom is up. And your mom came up and I pushed me out and I ran to the bathroom with fear. I just stood in the door. I wanted mama to see. And she hurried up and grabbed me. We went to the hospital. They did a rape test on me. Can you imagine 16 years old, had to go through a rape test? And you know what? Before that time, my mom was strict she was strict when it comes. She thought it was a way of protecting us by staying in the yard. She said, I don't want you out of the yard especially in summer or after school.
Right.
We'd be outside, we playing. She would say, don't go out this yard. That was her way of protecting us from anyone else.
Right.
But she didn't know we needed protection from the one who was in the house. Yeah. And the lies he told behind my back, he would take her in the room and say I was whoring around in the street. What a little girl doing whoring around in the street?
Wow.
I didn't know anything about boys at that time. All I knew was I was being molested in the house. I knew about sex because that was introduced to me as a young little girl. But to say I was out whoring around, so here I am going through all these emotions with her because she's believing what he's saying. and because he was
Wow.
my father. So my sister told my mother, like, Mom, if you would have asked me, I would have told you Shauna never came out the yard. She never whored around with guys. She never was out there in the street. She did exactly what you told her.
Was that her first time, like you were saying, when you were 16 years old and he pushed you out, but you needed her to see at that
It was her
moment what
first
was
time
happening?
actually knowing. She took me to the hospital, and her rape test came out positive that I was being molested. So that was on the 24th of December, according to the medical records. So they must have came and got him the next day of Christmas, or maybe after Christmas, I'm not for sure. The cop, I remember the cops coming and arresting. My mom was crying real bad. And yeah, they arrested him, and he's not locked up today because I promised her I wouldn't testify. And
In that moment, you were finally saying, "Oh, my mama see this now. She's taking me to get tested. This is what's supposed to happen now that the cat's out the bag." So how are you feeling? I know, you're already feeling broken because of all that's been going on, but now this moment has come. Mama knows, the hospital knows now, the police know now. He's gonna get in trouble now, and I don't have to do this anymore. How did that feel for you? Because it had to be a moment of
a
grief.
sense of relief. It was so much relief. I was like, I don't have to go through this anymore. I can live a normal teenager now. I can. I thought I was broke out of jail, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was broken out of jail. I was happy. I was so happy. I was like, finally, I won't have to deal with this anymore. Finally, I could get help
Mm-hmm.
with this. I will have my mother all to myself. She gonna love me more. I was looking for her love more because he had put so much of a wedge between us because of the lies that he told and continue to tell to this day. Um, that's how I felt.
And is that what happened for you?
No,
It was that excitement, that sense of
quickly
peace was
left,
short-lived.
quickly short-lived.
So when you noticed that things didn't go as you thought they would, what did that do for you?
Devastated me because it happened again. It didn't stop. Even after the police picked him up, and even though he got released, and it never stopped. And that's the thing that I was hoping, okay, they put some fear in him.
Mm-hmm.
He won't do it no more. Never stopped. So my escape from home was to marry. And I won't go into all that because that's in my book, but to marry, to get out, to escape it. And even though I escaped it physically, mentally, and spiritually, I didn't escape. I still lived the horror. When I got an adult, and years later, after I left the home, and you know what? Before I go into that, when I left home, I feared for my siblings.
Yeah.
But then at the time, I fought myself now sometimes, even though everybody's grown.
Yeah.
I left home to escape, but they needed an escape. And I always question, like one of my siblings talked the other day, why didn't social services take us out the home? The system failed us. Even though I didn't testify, there was proof. Why didn't they take us out the home? So I feel the system failed us big time. I feel that, if they, I mean, if they, if they would have done it, how our lives would have been now.
Yeah.
I love my mom. My mom raised us the best way she could. She raised us to be women of God. I thank God for her teaching and stuff. But and I wouldn't want to be away from my mother. But at the same time, he was there. So why did they fail us? What happened? Who dropped the ball?
Yeah.
Is the question I will ask. if I were to see one, what happened. But that's 1989. That's way back,
Yeah.
but still, I would love to know what happened that day. What dropped the ball? Why no one came? My sister said she remember one coming in. I don't, because a lot of vague stuff, because it's the trauma.
Yeah.
But she did say one did come and visit at times, and that was it.
Wow.
But it was just strange.
Yeah, yeah. And even, it's sad like that it happened then anytime. It happened then, but it's still actually happening. And that's how we come to read so many articles
Yes.
now and hear so many news reels where these innocent children have succumbed to injuries
Yes.
because they were overlooked or they were forgotten.
Yes.
Or somebody was too busy to take their trip to visit, or nobody took it serious enough. It's still happening.
Still.
And it's sad because I know we're sitting here now, we had a journey. We know what that journey was, and we're now grown and adults. But imagine children that were your age when you were in the middle of your trauma are in that trauma right now with no voice. They don't know who to talk to. They're afraid. They're unlearned. They don't know if this is supposed to happen. Or yeah. And I know this podcast isn't about me, but
it's okay.
It just relates so much to my story because and I just shared a little snippet. I haven't posted it yet, but I shared a little snippet of part of chapter 3 in my book of the experience I had when I was told, you are a very blessed and special little girl, and I need to anoint you. I need to anoint you. This is a special anointing, and you can't tell anybody. This is between me and you, or God will be upset with you if you tell anybody. So it's just us. If you want to talk to somebody, you have to tell me and no one else. And so they put that fear there, and knowing that we're young and we don't know any better.
Yeah.
So we believe it.
Yeah.
Because we're young and we want to be obedient.
Yes.
We're raised to be good kids and to listen to our elders and stuff like that. So, and it's so sad because children are experiencing this now.
Yes.
Adults are still lost in their story and in their journey right now. And it's stories of overcoming like this that gives them the hope that if she can do it, I can do it. Yes. If they can do it, I can do it.
Yes.
And that's why it's so important to have those people connected to us and around us that care for real. Yeah. And that can hear the heart. Don't just hear what I'm saying. Don't look at me and see the trauma that I've endured. But when I tell you what I went through, I need you to hear my heart. And that is so important. Yes. And that's what I heard in your story. I heard your heart. And that's going to make me cry. Because I heard your heart crying. And, it honestly, when I heard it crying in the story. But to hear you in person, I hear it crying, I'm free. This is over. Yes. My journey at that place has ended. Yes. And I've begun a new one. Yes. So I'm thankful that God has equipped you because, like his word says, he won't put anything on us he won't put more on us than we can bear. That's right. So he's equipped you, he built you to be the one to be strong enough to endure what you had to go through. Yes. Because we think about it, and nothing against anybody or anything like that, but had it been another sister or had it been another friend, they may not have been able to endure what we endured. They may not have been able to carry it, but you were. And the story is just amazing. It just takes me to so many areas, and I'm in awe at your strength, like I've told you before. And I just want to ask you because I know you said your sisters, they contact you now and they're supportive, and that's a wonderful thing. Yes. when you were coming up and these things were happening to you as a teenager, so you had the younger siblings, right? Did you ever wonder, um, okay, so I'm old enough to move around, but I have sisters at home that are still younger than me. They can't move as freely as I can. Did you ever wonder if things might be happening to them and if you should talk to them and ask?
I did. My youngest siblings at the time, we kind of sheltered them from what happened. We, I thought I was sheltering them. The youngest one didn't know anything until recently. But the other two, I did. It was a tormenting thing in my mind because of the fact that at the time I was way away from home. I was in another state and some things were going on. So at the time I couldn't move them in with me because I was going through something traumatic again in my home at the time. So, but I always would wonder, okay, it happened to me. Are they susceptible to that? And they were. And I didn't find out till we grown adults. They finally came and told me, hey, this is what happened. And I always ask them, I tell them, because I cut communication. After I talked to I went to a lot of therapy, lots of therapy. At one point, they did put me on anxiety meds because they said I had an anxiety disorder because I would go into shakes and my mind would be everywhere because I'm always thinking of a way out, a way out, a way out, even as a child or couldn't understand what was going on, so it was like anxiety and I would tense up in my bed at night because I knew he was coming, so I would tense up my whole body, like try to make it like stiff, so he couldn't move me. Didn't work, of course. But that was anxiety after anxiety after anxiety after anxiety, and then other traumas I developed at home. So I always wondered, I always wondered until now. And now that I've healed, I want them to be healed. I want that. Now I couldn't talk about this without booing, crying, getting mad, wanting to throw stuff. So I know God healed me, He delivered me, but the pain of the memory is still there. And then you know how you go through years and you want to bury it, but then when your sibling call you, like I read in your book, your sibling call you and say, this is what happened. You were like, what?
Shake the ground.
And I said, okay, I can't bury it. I have to take it. And I mentioned to one of my siblings, I said, we can't keep sweeping everything on the rug to make everybody else around us comfortable, make everybody else make it look normal or make them happy. We're going to have to shake that dust from underneath that rug, bring that garbage out. That's the only way we can heal. And make that person, my father, accountable for what he done. So this is a way of bringing accountability as well, to him, which I can never see that happening, but this is an accountability. He got scot-free. He's walking around normal, living his best life, while my siblings hurt in secret, in silence, cry in silence, even down to my mother. She was so very sorrowful, crying, hugging. She's so sorrowful. She always said, why did I end up with someone? I said, Mama, it's not your fault. It's not your fault. That's just what life happens. We end up meeting a mate and thinking he's the best thing smoking and boom, that what happens, so when it comes to she's sorrowful for what happened. And we love our mother because she's been there. Regardless of everything, she's been there. She's our dad and our mom, and we love her to death. So, but she's handling it the best way she can, but we try because we're adults now. So I tell my siblings all the time, it's time to get therapy, to help through this. But I'm going to be your voice today.
Yes.
I'm going to be your voice. I'm going to, they like, thank you, Shonda. Thank you, I'm going to be your strength. I'm going to carry the load for you so that you can be able to heal. So that it won't be a secret anymore. We don't have to walk inside. We don't have to fake smile anymore or feel like the black sheep anymore.
Right.
We're not the well-kept secret anymore,
That's it.
And that's what I wanted to do. I appreciate you. I really do.
It's your strength.
Yeah.
It's your strength. And I love it because it's like your strength is strong. It's strong enough to carry not even, you, but you're carrying your siblings so that they won't have to. And then they can have that time to just heal, like you said.
Yeah.
And, as far as our parents, it's like you said, sometimes our moms, they are victims too.
Mhm.
And they might not be the victim that we are
Right.
in the story, but they are a victim as well.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Yeah.
they might be dealing with something that we don't know about,
Exactly.
just like, we were dealing with something they didn't know about. And on a different level, they may have been dealing with something else that made them a victim as well.
Exactly.
And they responded as a victim would.
Yeah. That's good.
And that's what happens. And I know some people, they get angry. Why didn't you do this? And why weren't you here? You saw it happen, and I know you did. And we expect them to respond a certain way. But sometimes, because they're a victim, they can't.
Yeah. That's good.
They're stuck too.
Yeah.
They're in hiding too.
Yeah.
They're trying to protect too. And sometimes if they respond the way we want them to, it could put all of us in danger rather than just the one. So we take a lot into consideration. And I know, there'll be people in comments saying, well, no. And it's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay because God has given us peace in knowing that this has been completed.
Yes.
And I'm excited for it. And I know we'll wrap up shortly, but I do want to ask one thing concerning your father. Have you ever noticed at any point after it all came out, even at the beginning when it came out, up until now, at any point, have you ever noticed him to be sympathetic or show any type of sympathy or compassion?
No. I confronted him years ago on the phone. And I told him how I felt. And he said, oh, the devil made me do it. The devil can't make you do what you don't want to do. And the devil you got a choice, even down to choosing Christ. You have a choice to make that decision. Yeah. Only the devil can do is tempt you, but it's your choice to what you do with it. Right. And that was his answer. Wow. So no, still lie to this day. He's not sympathetic. Yeah. I always say to my siblings, in order for us to be healed, he will have to take all of us in one room, and we have to literally see him bawling, crying, saying, hey, I am so sorry for what I put y'all through. Right. This is what I did do this thing, and I apologize. I'm so sorry. And then we can have a choice to say, okay, we'll continue in the relationship. But I tell them when I cut him off completely, I told my siblings, I said, the word dad is not the definition for him. Mm-hmm. That is not his definition. That's not a definition of a dad. So for me to say he is my dad or my father, yes, I look like him. Yes, I may have some features about him, but I can't say that's my dad because of the fact that you violated me.
It has no meaning.
It has no meaning. No meaning whatsoever. So my father is Jesus. There he is. He didn't hurt me. He didn't molest me. He didn't manipulate me. He didn't lie on me. He didn't try to bring a wedge between my siblings and my mom. He didn't do any of that. He loved me and he reconciled us. Reconciled my relationship with my mom, and I thank God for Jesus. Amen. I thank God for him. That's why I'm able to have this strength. It's not on my own. Yeah. It's because of him is why I have this strength today. Yes. I vowed to him when he delivered me out of a situation, I vowed that day I would serve you for the rest. It's in my book. I vowed to serve him for the rest of my life. And ever since that day, I obey him to a T. I obey him to a T. So yes, this is why I have the strength I have.
That's awesome. Awesome. So in all of that now, you've taken us from your childhood, how things began to happen to you that was inappropriate, how you felt, how the family was connected. Um, as far as today, Shonda, today, tell us who you are today, present.
I am a woman of God. I am healed. I'm delivered.
Mm.
I'm happy, happily married.
Yay. I know how that feels.
I thank God for my best friend, her husband,
Yeah.
being my support. She's been there from the beginning. I mean, not beginning when she, when I was a little girl, but but in the beginning when I met her, times I was broken. I met her when I was broken, and she put me at her table. Her husband fed me. Times I struggled, she would call and say, you hungry? Come get this pack of chicken, and different stuff like that. So to have, and I have other friends too that's been there, and you, and how I thank God that I serve God. I love him. I'm about to be an author.
Yes, yes, she's
About
about to be an author.
Yes.
So now you've got to tell everyone that's viewing, you've got to tell them about this book that is coming out. I didn't want to say it up front because I didn't want to spoil it. I said it's her book, she needs to introduce it, but tell us about the book that you wrote that's coming out.
So the book is about strength for the journey, and I will go a little bit into it. Strength for the journey. I picked that title because years and years ago, it's a church that me and my mom was members of in North Carolina. And a woman pastor came from Maryland. Some people may know who I'm talking about that's listening. She came for a service, and the woman, I'm telling you, first time I ever seen the power of God move the way he moved on her, it was just like she was gliding, and she would just lay hands on people, and people fall out in the Holy Ghost. I said, "Ooh," and I'm just standing there like this, looking like, "Whoa, I ain't never seen nothing like." So after service, after she preached, everybody went to best view. How everybody just greeting each other. Girl, that service was good. And the power of God still was on her, and her armor bearer was walking through. And she stopped in the vestibule. She still would lay hands on people. They were falling out. They were laughing, talking, boom, boom, boom. They fall out. And she walks up to me, didn't lay no hands on me. She just said, "Strength for the journey." I was like, what she mean by that?
That's good.
I didn't understand what she meant. So that stayed with me, like, strength for the journey. Am I going through more than what I? Soon as she spoke that to me, I would say a month or two later, everything but the kitchen sink hit me for 10 long years.
Wow.
And I understood what that meant. So I took that as my title because it took strength, even from a little girl. I didn't lose my mind. I tried to commit suicide. I didn't die. I tried everything I could to not live. I felt dirty, nasty. I felt like I was a scum. Even when I was around other family, I would just sit to myself because I was so dirty. I felt dirty. So I was like, so to come from that through other traumas that I went through, from trauma after trauma, it was never ending. Even after I left my mom's home, I said, okay, strength
for the journey.
For the journey.
Wow.
So that's my book. It's about all the traumas that I endured all through my adult life. And I can say this day, since I've been married to my now husband, I haven't had any trauma. I haven't had, is everything peaches and cream? Of course, not all the time. That's just how marriage is. But I have more peaches than I have anything else. Yes. Let's put it like that. Yes. With the sugar on top and the whipped cream, I have more than I live life to the fullest now. Yes. I am redeemed now. It was one time that I had a rough patch. I had 6 years of healing from one trauma that I went through, which you would read. Took 6 years to heal. And then when I did, I picked myself up from the bootstraps, dust myself off. Now I'm going forth.
That's awesome.
And I thank God.
That's awesome.
I thank God.
Yes, I'm excited. I won't say I'm excited to read it because I already read it. So I'm thankful to brag about this great story because it is amazing. It is absolutely great. And I love that in the story, she tells details, not too extremely deep, but details that will help capture the moment of where people are. And the reason I say it like that is because I had someone to reach out to me to say, yeah, I read about stuff all the time, trying to heal. People give me pamphlets and they tell me, do this, do that. If you're feeling like this, do that. If you're feeling, she said, but when I read your book, you spoke to my heart because you were telling me my story.
Wow.
You were in detail. You were telling me what I was going through and what I was experiencing. And I've never heard anybody hear me before. And that is what your book does. It's like whoever is going through any of this stuff, who's dealing with this stuff, they will find themselves in that story, not just a message in a book that's telling you, hey, this happened to me and this is what I did. You should do it. It's not, it's different from that. And that is what this story is going to do. It's going to heal. It's going to have people reaching out. It's going to have people wondering, who is this author? I got to find her because I want her to hear mine because it's so similar. And that is what people did. That's what people did. And it was so amazing. And I said, okay, God, what do I do with this? What do I do with this? I said, and just like you have a servant's heart. So it's like, you got to do for yourself, but your heart is built to do for others.
Yes.
And it's like you would give your last, you take your shirt off, your coat off just to make sure somebody else is warm. It's just you. And it's like you can't separate that from you because it's just who you are. And that is a blessing. And you are the kind of people who we need, who women need, men, young boys, young girls who have experienced these things. It's you. You're the kind of servant that's needed in this day to help people cope and to help them come out of where they are and to help them understand, hey, you've got people that care. And we want to show you how much strength you really have on the inside of you.
Yes.
So I'm thankful for your story.
Thank you.
And I thank you for being on the show.
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you everyone for watching. She has family and friends here who have joined with us. It's so exciting. Yeah, I feel like a real talk show host. So I'm so thankful and so blessed. And thank you guys again for joining us. And Shauna, thank you.
Thank you
for sharing this experience with me.
Thank you.
I appreciate you and I love you so much. I do. This is only the beginning.
Yes,
This is only the beginning. There is definitely more to come. So again, thank you all.